I am happy to welcome you today to the Akron Press Club's inaugural State of the University Luncheon with Dr. Gary Miller, President of the University of Akron. Thank you for joining us today. Going to make a little commercial. Now's a good time to remind you to silence your mobile phones, please. Thank you. Okay. That was like a drum roll. Thank you very much. My name is Carla Davis, President of the Akron Press Club. It is so good to be here today in person. It's been a long 2 years since our last luncheon, so we are thrilled to return to an in-person forum and to present the President of the University of Akron, and I am looking forward to hearing your speech, Dr. Miller. The Akron Press Club was founded in 1971 to promote a free press and serve local journalists and public relations professionals. Now in its 51st year, the mission continues. Your support for the Akron Press Club helps us to present programs that keep the community informed and engaged and provide scholarships for journalists and public relations students. Between the Press Club and the John S. Knight Memorial Scholarship Fund, 10 scholarships of $5,000 each were awarded in 2021. These scholarships make a difference to the students who receive them. On behalf of the Press Club, we sincerely thank Summit County for its generous donation to our scholarship fund. One of our scholarships is named in honor of the late County Executive Russ Pry. Russ was a supporter of the Press Club through his annual State of the County speech. Current Executive Eileen Shapiro continues that tradition. Thank you, County Executive Shapiro. We also thank Dr. Eileen Thong and Elizabeth Bartz for their generous donations to support scholarships. All of their support made the past 2 years without luncheons to fund scholarships bearable, and we are very grateful. If you would like to donate to our scholarship fund, go to our website, akronpressclub.org. There you will find an item with the headline, Help the Press Club, Fund Scholarships. Click on the headline and you will find details on how to make a donation. Again, that's akronpressclub.org. And while you're on our website, you will find information on how to join the Press Club. We'd love to have your membership and to have your engagement. So come join us. Now on to today's speaker. The moderator for today's speech is Michael Shearer, Press Club board member, editor of the Akron Beacon Journal, beaconjournal.com, and regional editor of the USA Today network in Northern Ohio. Michael joined the Beacon Journal in March 2019. So at this time, please help me welcome Michael, who will introduce Dr. Gary Miller. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see a crowd here today. Dr. Gary L. Miller became the 18th president of the University of Akron in October 2019, just 6 months before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Since then, he's led the university's transition to online learning and back to now in-person classrooms. He brought to the university an inclusive strategic planning process to reinvest in the areas of strength at the university and create new programs and degrees. Miller has also reached out to the community and has led the campus to review its culture and processes related to diversity and inclusion. He also was faced with UA's long-standing budget issues, and the university went through a round of layoffs and negotiated a 6-year contract with the unionized faculty. Dr. Miller came to Akron after serving as chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, and before that he was at the University of North Carolina-Wilmington. He also served as provost and a dean while there. He taught at the University of Mississippi, Weber State University, and Mississippi State University, where he holds a doctorate in biological sciences from that university. Dr. Miller and his wife, Georgia and Nix Miller, enjoy the arts and outdoor activities. They have 3 adult children and 5 grandchildren. At the conclusion of his speech here today, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions to him directly. For those of you here in person, you can fill out the cards that were provided on your seats today, and someone will come by and pick them up for you. And for those watching virtually, you can send your questions in an email to pressclubquestion@gmail.com. Once again, that's pressclubquestion, all one word, @gmail.com. And now, please welcome University of Akron President Dr. Gary L. Miller to the Akron Press Club.
Well, thank you, Michael, and good afternoon to all of you. It's a great pleasure to be here. I want to just take a moment to welcome you all here and all those who are listening on the live stream, and thank you for the opportunity to take a few minutes to share some news about the University of Akron we're very excited about. There's so many of you in here that I know. I want to just mention a few people. I have a large number of my senior leadership team here. You folks stand up when I call your name. Kim Cole, Celeste Cook, Tammy Ewan, Dallas Grundy, Charles Guthrie, our new athletic director back there, Wayne Hill, I think John Messina's here, and Sheldon Rice. These are fantastic leaders. And they are members of the cabinet. Please give them a round of applause for the work they're doing. Also want to introduce Carrie Jackson back here, who's our new off-campus safety officer and former Akron police officer and University of Akron police officer. Great. Christine Mayer's here, member of our board. Christine, stand up or wave so people know you, I'm sure, but the University of Akron has a fantastic board of trustees, and Christine is the newest member, and we're very excited to have her with us. I see Eileen sitting over here, a great friend. Christine Fowler-Mack, a great colleague. We're just glad to have you. I know Marco's here representing the mayor. We're there. You folks are great. We do have 3 of our deans here. Mitchell McKinney from the Buchtel College of Arts and Sciences. Where's Mitchell? They're right here. And 2 new deans, Emily Janowski-Halen, School of Law, stand up, and R.J. Niemer, College of Business, over here. Both of these great new leaders. We're just very excited. And I think I did have a great conversation with Seamus Malik, the City Council. There you are. Thank you so much. We're just very excited to have you all here and to have you as part of what we're trying to do at the University of Akron. I also want to thank Carla and the Akron Press Club for hosting this event and encouraging donations for those attending today. Your donation supports scholarships in journalism and public relations, and which will perpetuate, of course, this next generation of professionals in this field. So I hope you'll consider that. And also, before I begin, I want to recognize my wife, Georgia, down here. I think most of you who know Georgia and me know that she is an essential part of what we do, and we've done this together for a long time, and I love you, and I'm glad you're with me. Thank you. I'm very proud to say, without reservation, that the University of Akron is strong and very well positioned for the future. And I look forward to giving you an overview of our position in just a few minutes. However, before I get to that, I want to say how very proud I am of the faculty, staff, and students, and really the community and alumni as well, of this great university for their resilience and creativity and grit in what has now been almost 2 years of a global pandemic. Great universities don't just endure tough times. They find strength in their mission and use those times to create new ways to move ahead together. And the University of Akron is a great university, and I could not be prouder to have served this university during this time of COVID. We won't say much about it today. We continue to deal with it, but this university did an amazing work. The University of Akron is a large, nationally recognized urban research university. Urban universities, like the University of Akron, are among the most important part of the public higher education sector in America for a number of reasons. One is those like the University of Akron that were municipal universities owned by their cities at one time have a very special symbiotic relationship with their host cities. Urban universities educate the largest array of different kinds of learners in America. Many of these are older students. Many students in urban universities come from families without traditions in higher education, and the vast majority of them work while they're in college. The research and service activities of urban universities like UA intersect with the broadest possible set of economic, educational, and social challenges. And universities like the University of Akron also generally provide a large portion of the arts and entertainment in the urban environment. Because of our urban orientation, and because of our long and rich history with this wonderful legacy city, Akron, which George and I have come to love, and so is our family, by the way. Some of them are coming tonight. We embrace a number of special obligations as a university in this city, and there are a couple I just want to mention. We are obligated to understand and respond to the entire range of higher education needs for a very, very diverse community in this region. We're obligated to be a value-adding partner to business, nonprofit, and the public sector. Urban universities must very intentionally vigorously address a wide range of social, educational, and economic issues in the community. We have to be the leader in social justice in these communities, and we have to provide a platform for a broad and constructive civic discourse. These are things at the University of Akron that we see as obligations. An example of nearly every challenge facing America today can be found in the city of Akron or the region around Akron. And as an urban university, it's our obligation to lead in addressing those challenges. Now, because urban universities are situated in such diverse and complex environments, they also encounter a vast range of opportunities. And indeed, we like to talk of the University of Akron as the Opportunity University or an Opportunity University. Our role is to give as many people as possible a chance to transform their lives with higher education and to support commerce in this area and create new ways for people to interact with one another for the common good. And the way in which the University of Akron fulfills this role as an opportunity university is really what I want to talk to you about for a few minutes today, because this is the exciting part of what we're doing and what we're doing in the future. And I want to just touch on three areas of keen interest to us, and hopefully you'll have some questions about these. One is this idea that we've got to create access to higher education and ensure success, ensure the opportunity for success. Secondly, we are in the process of reinventing the University of Akron for the future. And this is very important because the city and the county are doing the same thing. We're reinventing ourselves for the future. We all know that's necessary. And importantly, thirdly, I'll mention a couple of the creative partnerships that we are now involved in that both advance the mission of the university and the mission of this region. And these are very exciting to us. Let me start with students. The University of Akron has an excellent portfolio of academic programs in engineering, business, healthcare, arts and sciences, and law that are incredibly important right in the center of the current and future job needs in this country. Students graduating from our programs, and this is pretty much all of them, typically earn starting salaries higher than our competitor universities in this region. by Department of Labor statistics. More than the success of our more than 180,000 alumni around the world is incredibly impressive. So we know that the University of Akron has a valuable degree, and it shows throughout the world. So the two most important things we have to do at the university are to provide access to this higher education for as many people and as many different learners as possible with as many different backgrounds, and then give every one of those students a chance to succeed, because that's the second part, to get a degree or a certificate. Now, of course, we do this for our own survival. As it's increasing enrollment at the University of Akron is our top goal. We have to do this, we can do this, and I'll have some information in a minute that shows we're on an encouraging trajectory. But just as importantly, we have to meet the current and future workforce needs of this region and this state, which are enormous and getting larger as we move forward. So what are we doing to encourage people to come to the University of Akron and give them a chance to succeed? We have adopted a holistic approach to university admissions. Rather than looking at just test scores, what we want to know is what else is in the background of this student that would benefit the university, and how we can help that student get a certificate or a higher or a degree, make their dream come true, have their lives transformed. We're reinventing the way in which we advise students. This has been a big project in the provost's office involving virtually everybody on campus. We're also providing different kinds of support for our faculty and advisors to make it easier for them to let students understand what their future could be like and make good choices early in their education. We're working very hard to hold tuition costs steady, and last year we reduced housing costs, which has worked really well for us, and we're excited about that. We're optimizing the way in which we award financial aid. And we're doing this so that we can help more people come to the university and get a degree. And we're investing in student services, including significantly more investment in mental health services. And we are supporting a very vibrant student life program, and I hope some of you will experience that sometime when you're on campus. We're redoubling our efforts to make the campus and areas around the campus safe. This is very, very important to us, one of our top priorities. And we're enhancing the way in which we tell the story about the University of Akron and where we tell that story through our We Rise Together campaign. All of this is having a positive effect on enrollment. This year, looking at the fall of 2020, right now we're in the process of gathering applications. And then we will work to get those people that applied to come. And then we'll get them to work to commit. And then we'll get them registered, and we'll get them here in the fall. We have increased the number of applicants for the fall 2022 considerably over last year. We set a stretch goal for ourselves. We made that stretch goal. We've been very successful in providing a path for students who decided not to join us in the fall because they were uncertain about COVID. We had quite a few that just didn't come back in the spring semester. In the fall semester. We were able to recover quite a few of those in the spring semester by just reaching out to them and having a conversation. And we're seeing very strong housing contract numbers for next fall. So we anticipate right now at this part of the admission cycle that we are on track with our goals for enrollment. Now we know we have a long way to go with enrollment, but we're encouraged by these early numbers. And the best thing about this is right now the entire university community is involved in this. Students, faculty, staff, everybody is working to tell the story about the University of Akron and encourage students to come here. So let me turn to how we're reinventing the University of Akron. When I arrived here in October of 2019, 5 months before we closed the university down, it was clear to everyone that if the university were to prosper, we would have to undertake some considerable changes. As I mentioned, many of these changes that we focused on through COVID and now relate to enrollment and how we serve students and how we give them a chance. But we also undertook some bigger moves. We reorganized the university from 11 colleges to 5 colleges plus the Williams Honors College. And by doing this, what we were able to do is collect similar academic programs into the same administrative unit. And we're already starting to see, in fact, it didn't take long to see the synergies that are now developing in faculties that were doing similar stuff, not the same, but are now closer together and working together, and that's very exciting. We recruited some exciting new people for our top leadership positions. John Winsick joined us as provost, and he's not here today. Dallas Grundy, who I introduced earlier, assumed the role of chief financial officer. Those two leaders, plus the rest of the cabinet under their leadership, have done some really important things in redefining the university. We have refined our strategic planning process so that it's not a 10-year thing, but a 1-year thing. And we're working now on immediate outcomes that make the university better. Dallas and his group is in the process of remodeling our financial system so that we can begin enabling deans and their faculty to have more autonomy in building relationships and building partnerships. And we initiated programs to replace our antiquated computer enterprise system, which will give us analytic power and a lot more computer security. These are heavy lifts supported by the board, and we're making good progress on them. But one of the most important things that our leadership team has done since over the last year or two, since 2 summers ago, is, and particularly the work of the provost and the CFO, they have worked to achieve with the faculty and staff a new, more transparent and direct way to communicate with one another and to collaborate. Now, in higher education, we call this shared governance. The idea is all the major constituents on campus work together to develop policy and move the university forward. It's a very difficult thing to achieve. But we are very excited about this process at the University of Akron. The leadership team and the faculty staff leadership team meet regularly, and we talk about all issues that are important to the university. We've also moved to replace a lot of interim leaders, particularly at the dean level, with national talent searches. And we recently recruited the new dean of the law school and dean of the College of Business. We have searches underway for the College of Health and Human Sciences. We expect to announce a director of the School of Polymer Science and Polymer Engineering shortly. And these are all incredibly important leadership positions. In research universities, deans are the administrator that gets things done. They have the programs, they have the faculty, they have the partnerships, and we've got to build that cadre of leaders. Finally, it's important to emphasize that we are a research university. And our research programs connect us to business and the larger research world, and they create opportunities for faculty, staff, students, and the community. And the university is blessed with an exceptionally talented research faculty. Between July 2019 and December 2020, this research faculty had approved 118 patents. This is significant research. For all of these patents, there's a significant research trail. And all this research happened in our classrooms, laboratories, and research centers. And importantly, a lot of it, perhaps most of it, involved undergraduate research students as well. So that's exciting. 35 of our current faculty members are among the top 2% of scientists in the world, as reported by a recent Stanford University study based on how many people cite their research output, and their scholarly productivity. These designations highlight, and there are many other examples I could give you, but the highlight here is that if a student comes to the University of Akron in any field, they will intersect with a world-class researcher, and they will intersect with world-class teachers. Now, to support this, one of the things we're going to be doing, we're doing right now and hope to finish this spring or summer, is to recruit a vice president for research and business engagement. This person will interact with our research foundation and our research operation and move our research programs forward, and we're very excited about that. So let me talk about some partnerships that we think are really important opportunities. These are just examples because we have many. The way universities generate opportunities for their students and faculty is to create partnerships. They create partnerships with other universities, business, government, nonprofit, and then usually these partnerships are leveraged in some way by our research because we bring an enormous research and intellectual capacity to challenges in the business and world and in the nonprofit sector. Urban universities, as I said, have more obligations to form these opportunities, but we also have more opportunities. And so we have to take advantage of them, and I want to just mention a couple of these here because they're pretty exciting. Our partnership with the City of Akron and Summit County is one of the most important partnerships that we have, and it's one that we've spent a lot of time developing since we arrived in October of 2019. There is no scenario of prosperity for the City of Akron and the county or the University of Akron without a collaboration of all of those. There simply isn't. We think of that as an opportunity, and so we have to develop this partnership, and we're very happy to do it. Because of this, and because of our close relationship, particularly with downtown Akron, Mayor Horgan and I have committed to working with uncommon collaboration. We have formalized this commitment by establishing a permanent city-university working group that meets every 2 weeks to discuss issues and plan for collaborations. In fact, they met yesterday. Among the areas of active consideration by this group, and that list changes as we need it to change, but some important ones are safety and police coordination. This is very, very important to both of us, particularly around the campus. Economic development is very important. We have some joint infrastructure projects we're discussing because we're so closely aligned physically. There is already a close relationship between the city, county, and university and crisis management, but we tune that and talk about that. There's a lot of discussion about arts, culture, and entertainment as a way to attract people into the downtown area. And of course, we're always interested in education at all levels, and we want to make sure that whatever we do, we're supporting our local Akron Public Schools, Christine, and all the other, and Stark State, all the other educational entities that are important to us. Now, we are also blessed to have a very close collaboration with Summit County and County Executive Eileen Shapiro and her team. The county has been incredibly supportive of the university since I've been here and long before that in a number of areas. Our safety initiative south of Exchange Street, where they are really putting in a lot of resources with our camera project. They have supported our Akron Arts Initiative, and we have conversations with the county executive about a whole range of issues, many of the ones we also talk to the city about every day. This partnership between the city, county, and the university is the most important thing that we have to develop as we all go forward, and we're very excited about it. Now, I mentioned Akron Arts. Let me just say a few words about that. Last fall at the Akron Roundtable, where I gave the speech with nobody in the room, well, I think Wayne was there, waving at me, and a few people from the roundtable. I announced the Akron Arts Initiative, which really is the centerpiece and our lead initiative in our efforts to connect physically and programmatically the University of Akron with downtown Akron. One of the highlights of this project is to open the Polsky building to Main Street. Those of you who've noticed, it's turned around. It's facing the wrong direction. And so we are prepared to invest about $7 million over the next couple years with the help of supporters and some capital dollars to do that. The vision is to open that up so it articulates with the Civic Commons in Lock 3 and what's going on at the Akron Civic Theater, and then on the other side with Canal Park. The vision is for space to include performance stages, an art gallery, a boutique, a cafe, and some shared public spaces. We are very excited about this. We have great drawings for it. We are preparing to move forward with that. This initiative is an opportunity to engage downtown in a way that we haven't done before, and in the process to support the investment the city and the county and everybody have made downtown, and the efforts of our friends at the Knight Foundation to revitalize downtown and the surrounding areas. And we're already having great success with this. Part of the Akron Arts initiative was to engage in a partnership with the Akron Civic Theater, which we have done now. So the Akron Civic Theater now coordinates the activities of the Civic, the Goodyear Theater, and E.J. Thomas Performance Hall. This allows us to, and we're going to do this in the future this summer, to put a marketing umbrella over all of our Akron entertainment spaces so that we're attracting the largest variety of opportunities for people to see arts and entertainment. So we're very excited. Under the leadership of Vice President University Advancement Kim Cole, we have restarted the Arts Advancement Council, and this is a group of community leaders who will help guide us in this Akron Arts program, and some of you, I'm sure, will be invited to join this. There's another opportunity we're really excited about that's emerging now. The University of Akron is part of a coalition in Northeast Ohio that has been selected as one of 60 national finalists out of more than 500 applicants in the Build Back Better Regional Challenge, which is the marquee American Rescue Plan Act program of the U.S. Economic Development Administration, the EDA. Our coalition in Northeast Ohio is the only finalist from the state of Ohio. And we feel very optimistic because of this. If selected, this coalition would receive up to $75 million in federal dollars for 8 different manufacturing products in this region. This is a direct job development opportunity. The University of Akron's role, which is one of the largest roles in this consortium, will be to establish a polymer research and development facility, which we will build on campus, and commercialization space to innovate and test new smart materials for advanced manufacturing projects, particularly in the polymer space. Now, this is an estimated $22 million building project that will be a tremendous showcase for the university and will provide innumerable research opportunities for our faculty and students, and will open up partnerships, opportunities for research and the business community. And I have to say, and I want to, this is very important, we have to thank Steve Millard and the Greater Akron Chamber and all the other partners that they assembled besides the University of Akron for their work in securing this opportunity for us, and the work that they did with us prior to that to develop and deploy our polymer cluster initiative, where we are continually in conversations with the needs of the some 500 polymer companies in the 9-county region in this area. So we're very, very excited about this. It is an opportunity for a lot of collaboration, and I hope we'll be talking about it for, this will be awarded in September. We have a couple more steps, but we got our fingers crossed. Now, one of our most important community partnerships is our NCAA Division I ZIP athletic program. Athletics provides opportunities for hundreds of student athletes each year, and I want to mention that half of the just under 500 Division I athletes that we have at the University of Akron come to the University of Akron without an athletic scholarship. They come here because they want to play, and that's part of the passion that they have in their life. Under new leadership, the A.D. Guthrie's here, this partnership is on the move. And thanks to several generous donors, we recently announced plans for new renovated facilities for track and field, basketball, swimming, and diving programs that will improve the experience not only for the athletes, but and also increase their competitiveness in the Mid-American Conference, but also particularly with the track program, offer some opportunities for the community to enjoy our wonderful facilities. We've also started an initiative to ensure our brand and spirit logos are consistent with all of our platforms across the university. And the goal here is to present a comprehensive identity to align with the rest of the university and drive engagement of all of our programs, academic and athletics, throughout the greater Akron community. And you'll also see us roll out this summer our full Nike All Sports partnership for apparel and equipment. We'll roll that out this summer, so if you have some of that old logo stuff with the wrong company on it, you got to get rid of that and come to the bookstore and buy the right stuff. So Zips fans, I expect to see a lot of Spirit gear and this fall, and I just want to remind you that tonight at 7 p.m. we play Kent State University in basketball at the Jar Arena, where I expect we will make another step at recovering the wagon wheel. Absolutely. Let me just conclude here by saying something important about our post-COVID re-engagement with alumni. As I mentioned earlier, we have 180,000 alumni around the world. These are truly impressive people. They are now, after COVID, anxious to see us. And finally, we are able to re-engage physically with these folks. This will be a very important part of what George and I will be doing over the next couple years. And we recently have visited friends and alumni in Arizona, Dallas, Florida, all pretty warm places. And later this spring, we'll be in New York City, Boston, and Washington, D.C., where we have lots of alumni. What we're hearing from the people that we're visiting is a great enthusiasm for this university, great excitement about its future, and a great willingness to help us to support these programs. We're grateful for that, and it's very exciting. The state of the University of Akron, your urban research university, is strong. It has a very bright and exciting future, and we're committed to a future of opportunities for every person, every entity in this area. We have challenges. I haven't talked about them today because we all know what they are, and they're challenges that we are working on. But with this faculty, this staff, this community, we will overcome those challenges. We will leverage these opportunities, and we will make this a university that is truly a partner in this community. So thank you, and go Zips.
All right, thank you, Dr. Miller. Now is your chance to ask questions of Dr. Miller, and for those of you here in person, once again, fill out the cards that were left on your chairs today, and raise your hand, and someone will come by and pick them up for you. And for those of you watching virtually, once again, you can send your questions on email to pressclubquestion@gmail.com. That's one word, pressclubquestion@gmail.com. Now, as moderator, I get to ask the first question, and you ended there talking about challenges a little bit, so I'd like to ask about one, if that's okay. You obviously inherited a lot of challenges when you arrived here, that's no secret, based on past decisions and the enrollment that's declined quite substantially over the last decade. Is enrollment a good measure of the university's health? And if so, what are you doing to improve it? You talked about that a little bit in your time today. But is there another measure, too, that we should be looking at as a community to understand how well the university is doing going forward?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I can reform some of what I said earlier to answer it. Research universities, the vitality of research universities can be measured by their enrollment, by the vigor and success with which they partner with business and the community. by the attention that they're able to pay to safety, to social issues, by their willingness to partner with other universities, and by the productivity and prestige of their faculty. And I can tell you that we have had enrollment declines, but in the other areas we are very strong, and we will continue to strengthen all areas. So I think you can look at the university in all of those ways and help us come to a conclusion about how good we're doing.
You touched on briefly today that you're going to be investing in mental health care for students, and so I'm curious about that. Maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit more. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk in the media nationally about the mental health challenges that college students across America are facing, given the pandemic and all the stresses of going to college and so on. And also, we had a question from email earlier too about what you're doing to support LGBTQ students too. So maybe tackle both those in one.
So we just to go to the last one first, we are a university that believes deeply in diversity, inclusion, equity. Sheldon Rice and his group have developed for the university a roadmap for us to improve in some areas of that, which does address LGBTQ issues as well. The roadmap is something different from what I've usually commissioned, because it actually has steps that we believe we can take and demonstrate, and we're working through that right now. And so we will do whatever we have to do to make the university welcoming for anybody who comes, whatever their situation in life. And that's very important to us because we're a public institution, and that's what society looks like. Now, with regard to mental health, this is a big challenge in higher education across the country. It was actually a challenge prior to COVID. We were seeing lots and lots of increases in requests to see counselors. Our wait times were going up. I'm talking about higher education in general. Once we got into COVID, switched immediately to the virtual environment, which is a very, very difficult environment for nearly everybody, including the faculty, and not particularly well liked. We started to see a spike. And then when you add to that some of the challenges of urban students, they have to work, or they lost their job, or they have difficult living situations and so forth, and we want to keep them, then we needed to think more carefully about this. Now, I will tell you that this was a statewide effort. The chancellor in particular is very, very interested in this challenge and made more funds available to the universities, which we have deployed. And then we're just working as we can to allocate resources, reduce wait times, and get into an early intervention situation with students we believe are at risk. And that's part of our job. We do it willingly and with great humanity, because these students are incredible students. Some of them are just having some challenges. So we're happy, and John Messina and his group doing a fabulous job of making sure we reach out and touch as many as we can and provide the services that we can. By the way, I will have to just to say, this is not easy on faculty and staff either. This has been a really pretty tough time, and I know Christine knows this from her teacher. And so all of us at the university have had to look at each other and sort of say, what can we do to help each other through this? Because it is not easy, and we appreciate everything y'all have done to understand and help us with it.
That is definitely true, Dr. Miller. It's been a challenging time for everybody. There's no doubt about that. Your talk this morning or this afternoon about the polymer funding possibility for UA. There was a lot of buzz in this state. I think it was 3 weeks ago today when Intel announced it was coming to Ohio, and there was some kind of, what can Northeast Ohio do to move forward economically? Is this a good example of that? And what other opportunities do we have that UA might be able to be part of? And maybe explain that. What that provides us.
So I want to take an opportunity here to thank Governor DeWine, Lieutenant Governor Husted, Director of Workforce Development, and others. This is a historic opportunity. this intel. We received a briefing from the Lieutenant Governor yesterday, the university presidents did. We have committed as a university system, the IUC, to do whatever it takes to provide the workforce and the research and technology that this company needs. And if we're successful, this will be the global hotbed of semiconductor research and productivity. And that's Ohio. That we're right in the middle. So we have no doubt that the University of Akron will be at the table as the entire state and the entire higher education system works together to make sure this works out. But if you're wondering whether this is a good thing, it is a very good thing. And this initial investment is going to be huge. Lots of jobs produced. We were told roughly 60% of those would be high school graduates, and the rest will be bachelor's holding or higher. And so that's a nice mix and a challenge for us both. I'm very excited about it. We're already starting to marshal our assets so we'll know what we have. And by the way, we do have a lot of scientists working in this in nanotechnology and in materials that articulate with this area. So this is a big win for Ohio, and hopefully all of us working together will make it work out.
Okay, you also touched on athletics a bit here in your speech today. And obviously you see a role for Division I athletics in UA's future. My question is, how do you preserve the athletics as we know them today and in the past, and all the opportunities they provide to athletes that you spoke about, many who come here not being on scholarship, without overburdening the general fund and the cost of students who don't play sports? How do you find that balance at a university like UA today?
Right. And all universities have that challenge. Our approach is to make this part of the thing that students are proud about and want to participate in, all students. And we're hiring the right kind of coaches and taking the right kind of moves to do that. I will tell you that NCAA Division I athletics is going to change, and I'm right in the middle, Charles and I, of that discussion. I think some of the changes will be advantageous to mid-major schools like us. Some of them won't. But I want to give you one little bit of data that is very important to us, and one of the reasons that we stick with this program and consider it very much part of our university life. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 95% of the students that are accepted to the University of Akron but decide to go somewhere else, go to another Division I school. We do not compete as a university with Division III schools. We are a research university. Our biggest competitors are Ohio State, Cincinnati, and some other schools. We have the same suite of programs. We have the same research faculty. We operate in the same discussion networks in the country. It's very, very important for us to keep this profile. I will say something else. There are very, very few examples of significant gifts given to us by the athletic program where the donor is not also given to some academic program. It is very much an attractor to people who are interested. People remember it as something that they enjoyed when they were here. They want to talk about it, and then we go on and talk about the business school. And so we will keep it, and we have charged Charles to make it less expensive, which he is doing, and to give every opportunity for a student who plays a sport to win. If they're in an engineering class, or in a psychology class, or in a philosophy class at the University of Akron, they're going to get a very good experience. So when they're in athletics, we want them to have the same experience. They came here to play soccer, and they need to have a chance to win. So I'm bullish on athletics. I was an intercollegiate athlete. George and I met over the spring football game. And we think it's an important part of our community partnership.
Okay, I have a question from the audience here today. Did the university learn anything new about online learning during the pandemic, and how do you envision, I'm guessing the answer is yes, at least the short answer. What did you learn about online learning during the pandemic, and how do you envision putting that knowledge into practice going forward?
Right. So prior to COVID, the university did quite a bit of online learning, 20-30% of our offerings. We're kind of back to that number now. There's a big difference between what we did in COVID, which was to just get online and get these courses going, and what real online education is about, which is a very interactive process that takes a lot of time and energy on both the students' part and the faculty part. The university is really, really good at real online learning, and what we had before was really good. We had to switch a lot of courses over to virtual learning just to get them online, but what we learned is that we're really pretty good at that, and that there are ways now for us to continue that. The other thing we learned is students hate it, and if this did anything for those of us who've been in higher education for 30 years, it affirmed the value of campus because that's where these students want to be. They're highly vaccinated, they're wearing masks, and they are doing everything John and his group is asking them to do because they want to be at the campus. And so it was kind of rejuvenating for us. Okay, this thing we're doing with the city and the campus, that makes sense because that'll help us with enrollment. But I just want to say I applaud this faculty and the staff. There are a whole bunch of staff, too, that helped do this. They flipped it over in 2 weeks and then started improving on it. And we did pretty well.
All right, we have a question from online here. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of investments in academic buildings. Why is there no priority for the residence halls?
Well, actually, I just listed a couple opportunities. I didn't actually lay out the entire resource protocol for the university. We have had, since Dallas got here and John have started working together, we've had some very, very deep discussions about residence halls. Now, we have some good residence halls relative to a lot of universities, so they're clearly part of our future discussion. It's just I didn't mention them because I couldn't mention everything.
Understood. Thank you. Before you came here, you obviously did research about UA and Akron and Summit County, and you came for interviews and went through the process. When you got here and went through your first year, which you certainly didn't expect COVID your first year, but what surprised you the most when you arrived in town here and got to know the university through your daily activities?
Yeah, I appreciate it. We did do a lot of research. We visited a couple times undercover. Georgia was toured around town and they couldn't introduce her. They would just say, "This is a person we know. We want you to see the." I have to be honest with you. The understanding the challenges the university had was pretty straightforward. What surprised us was more positive things. The warmth with which we were welcomed here, it was incredible. Not only that, it extends to our family who love Akron. In fact, they come and stay for weeks, have a great time in Akron. So we were really impressed with that. I think the city of Akron and the region around here is really quite amazing. We're sitting here with this legacy city in a national park right next to it, and then all these other cool towns around. So, and then you've got Cleveland, of course. So we looked at that and said, that's good. But what I also discovered was that while there was a lot of discontent at the university and some confusion because of what had happened, there's incredible resolve there. In the first weeks when I visited students in the student union and talked to them about their experience here, they were incredibly high on it. They were high on the faculty. They said, this is cool. I'm getting what I need. And the faculty continued all that stuff that was in your newspaper. These folks were working. They were taking care of students. They were doing research. We had more grant proposals published, put out, and grants won during COVID than any particular time we'd had in the last couple of years. So that surprised me in a very positive way, because I realized, okay, it's just a matter of let's just start talking to each other, recognize the problems, be transparent about it, and see if we can't together move ahead. Now, I don't want to whitewash anything. We've got serious problems, but there is a path forward, and it's doable, and we're doing it. So we were encouraged by that. But and I'll say we, and George and I, we have a wonderful community here, and we're very happy to be here.
All right, I have one last question off email here, and I'll paraphrase this a bit. But you talked earlier today about making sure students can get here and making sure they can be successful, and obviously financial implications are a huge part of that. I know the university has recently unveiled a program involving Pell Grants and trying to help more students get the last few dollars they need to be a student, I guess. Can you just talk about that a little bit and your focus on the affordability of an education at UA, and then we'll wrap up after that.
The effort to fill in the last dollar of the Pell Grants has been very successful, and and the students involved in that pay nothing if they don't live on campus. So if they live at home, we're basically covering that. What we discovered was that there's a whole range of financial needs. It's pretty broad in an urban environment, but our scholarshiping process was only focused on a couple parts of that. So we have, thanks to the GAR Foundation and Christine and I, we've retained Kennedy and Company, and they've worked with us before to optimize the way we give scholarships. Students expect to pay for part of their tuition, and they'll do it by working, or they have, some money from parents or something. But what we need to do is figure out exactly what we can give them to make it possible for them to come, and that's different for virtually every student. So we've got to be able to have much more resolution in that, and we think we can do it. And we've started that process. The provost has started. Kennedy and Company will help us refine it. And so in the coming years, and when we give, a lot of the financial aid we give is a discount. That is, we're deciding not to collect tuition. So we want to optimize that because we want to manage our revenue. So you're going to see a lot more refinement in the way we talk to a student about what exactly you need and how we can put that package together for you, instead of just moving out a standardized package for everybody. So thank you all. Appreciate everything.
One last quick question.
Oh, you got another?
One easy one. Good. I know the Zips will win tonight, but any prediction on a margin?
Charles? This is why.
I was thinking about it that way, but good answer.
By the way, that game will be on ESPN2 if you can't get a ticket, which might be hard.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. I'll bring back up Carla Davis. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. You did a wonderful job moderating. Dr. Miller, thank you so much. We appreciate it. As an alumna of the University of Akron, I am excited for the plans that I heard today. Akron is, I call it the little engine that could. It just keeps on going. So thank you for leading the university and for the resilience that you've embraced here. Thank you very much. Thank you, audience, for coming. Thank you for tuning in online today. A couple of housekeeping details. Remember to pick up your lunch. On the way out, please, your to-go lunch. Check the website for upcoming Press Club events, and we hope to see you at Akron Press Club programs and events in the near future. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you. Drive safely.